Aloha all. This is podcast 61. I'm doing this on love yourself, love your inner child. So I had a different topic for this week, and this organically came up on its own. So we have Valentine's Day on Sunday. We had the new moon yesterday. We have the Chinese New Year today, going into the metal ox this year, which is supposed to be slow but sure in business and progress and nothing grand, but actually making little accomplishments. So it's supposed to be a better year, more stable year than last year with the rat. So let's hope all of that is true in our government and in our personal lives. And we have Mardi Gras on Tuesday, so depending on where you're coming from or what country you're in, I'm sure there's a holiday around now. So we're in the middle of winter. I'm in Austin, Texas, and it's 29 degrees today, and there's black ice on the roads. So it's a little intense out there. We're not used to this kind of weather, but I'm sure some of you have even colder weather. So let's see, talking about love yourself. So every client, I've been getting several new clients since the new year, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you for everyone who's giving me your recommendations. Most of my clients come through a referral, and I'm finding that most people that come to me, whatever their pain is or their heartbreaks or heartaches are, that it usually is derived from something from our past that's kind of reviewing itself. And it's usually a determination about how much we're loving ourselves, how much we're caring for ourselves. So I want to talk about one of the most common techniques that I teach is if you're dealing with sadness or heartbreak or feeling lost, to remember, it's very important to acknowledge and remember your inner child. And I've mentioned this before on a podcast. And basically, in the 80s, I used to be upset about this when they talk about inner child because I thought it was too woo-woo. And to know that we can time travel and we could go back to these hidden dark places in our past, and we can bring light back there, as I've said so many times, with our brilliant mind, utilizing our mind instead of letting it sabotage us, and to learn to do these healing practices. So it's truly a powerful practice that helps you heal old wounds, dealing with inner child, and when we're feeling this sadness, so checking in to see, because it could actually be something that's happened in your life, and we respond to sadness, to loss, to anger, to a variety of emotions. But let's say that you wake up and you're finding that there's this perversive sadness, or there's this, it's like I can't quite put the origin of it, or it's foggy, or it's just this yuck feeling, and I can't discover where it's coming from. That is your being, your holistic being that's always there to guide you, because we know the answers ourself. It's saying to go within and find the answers. So today I took my own counsel. Now, I had a whole nother podcast planned, and I wanted to have this recorded by yesterday, and then I had a lot of things happening in my personal life, challenges with my daughter and health issues and family stressors and various things, And I found that I didn't have any creativity and I didn't feel passionate about writing my topic. And here it's supposed to be the week of love, and I'm as sappy as they come. I love Hallmark, and as much as I believe in doing the real work for relationships, I will forever believe in true love. And I know true love is not, my belief of true love is not about, it's this two people that are perfectly matched together. It is about two people that love themselves, have enough self-awareness, are aware of their personal needs and how to communicate it in an articulate, kind way that your partner can hear. And that you both basically want to support each other. You both want to be each other's cheerleader. And you don't want to criticize your partner or compete with them or cut them down. You want the best for them. And when both of you are on that same page, that's true love. So I personally am celebrating that fact and that possibility for all of you out there that it does exist. But today, dealing with these various stressors and all, and I thought that it was kind of under wraps. I thought I had it kind of together, but I did. I woke up this morning and there was this deep sadness from the second I woke up, and it was a deep sadness. So there was some worry mixed in there, some loneliness, and some confusion. Now, could we say, as I previously mentioned, that the challenges that I was talking about could be the cause of this? Of course. But if I were a person who didn't have a daily self-care routine and used my tools, then I most likely would not know what's happening here. But I am a person that regardless of no matter what, I have my practice, and it's between 3 to 4 hours a day amongst my responsibilities and my clients and everything else, my errands, my chores, and I do a lot of self-care practice. So it's a exercise, it's meditation, it's journaling, and sometimes long hours of that, or repetitive moments of that, because I need it. So, but I woke up, and because of those self-care tools, I was very clear. Okay, something is coming up, something is rising from the past because I can't identify it. And now, what I find is when we do regular self-care practice, those are techniques to reduce our stress, to center us, and they're exercises that help us meet our basic needs. Regardless of challenges that are thrown at us, we are usually able to show up and meet each one authentically. So when you have a self-care routine and there's challenge after challenge happening in your life, you're able to be there, express the appropriate feeling, if it's angry because it was a boundary crossed, if it's sad because someone was aggressive or mean, if it's a disappointment because you had an expectation and then you clarify that. All of those are real human things. And self-care helps you identify that in the moment. So as life arises, we meet and attend to these events. So other cultivated skills one creates from regular self-care is being able to identify when it may be unconscious or from the past. And that's what I felt today. I instantly knew that something's coming up. So it's the opportunity for another round to review something. So I had a client this week say, something started coming up within the last year, and I dealt with this maybe 20 years ago, and I thought that it was done. And I don't know why this is still happening. And I said, this is how the mind works. It's pretty brilliant. It's our sabotage, and it's our best friend when we learn the nature of the mind. So basically, if we have something traumatic from our past, and we at different times address it and go into it where we're experiencing it and feeling it, and then we find somewhat of a resolve, and then we move on. So hopefully, when it came up, we found a resolve and moved on. What also happens is when something from the past comes up, we drink, we drug, we rage, we ignore, we watch more TV, we're more on social media, we're a workaholic, and we just keep stuffing it until we're not present for anyone in our life that we care about or ourselves. So that's another way that you can say that something from the past came up and we didn't deal with it in the healthiest way. It's almost like a merry-go-round, and the process is our merry-go-round. And it stops, and you have an opportunity when it stops to walk through the door of the past and to look at it and feel it and address it and witness it and look on all the sides that you can see, and let that pain turn into teachings, into wisdom, into understanding. And then you get back on the merry-go-round and you go around again, and you may have to wait a week or years or decades before it comes up again. So in talking to my new client, I told her that many people get frustrated because they think they dealt with this. And if you truly dealt with it, like I mentioned, and you didn't stuff it or avoid it, then it's actually coming up for you to look at it. So what happens is as we're going through life, and hopefully we're caring for ourselves, we're creating these self-care tools, and we create a stability. They call equanimity in Buddhism, where there's this balance, this inner balance that is stronger. And what happens is it's like my subconscious or my mind says, okay, she's ready for something else to come up. And perhaps an old wound that I've already looked at comes up to say, look at it like this. And because I have grown and my wisdom has changed and my self-care skills have been more refined, when I look at that same circumstance, I see it differently. And as I see it differently, I have greater understanding, and therefore I gain greater compassion and wisdom from the whole event. And there's a deeper peace in me. So this is kind of how we review things. So, back to this process that I was feeling. So I found this coming up for me today. And I did my meditation. I did a long process of meditation where I was very still. And organically, without me making the thought, because I know my being so well, I looked in with that sadness and I saw an 11-year-old me. And I saw her, and I could see her and smell her and feel her, and she was lying on me. So I was aware of me, the adult, wise, open-hearted, open-minded me, and this little 11-year-old. And I just held her, and I just actually saw her in my imagination. And I said soothing words to her. I said, "You're safe, you're loved, you're beautiful, I'll never leave you. I'm here for you. I'm here as long as you need." Just all these, whatever nurturing things your inner self needs to say. So just feeling that, I could feel this inner warmth happening with me. I have done a podcast on this before, I think number 8, talking about inner child, since this is so valuable that some of this is repetitive and some of this is is new, but it's worthy of hearing again. So there's not a client I've ever worked with, if it's for relationship issues or if it's for physical illnesses or whatever's happening, there's no one that I have met that couldn't benefit from using inner child work, that self-love, learning that self-love. So here we are, where we've achieved this stability inside, this process is coming up again, and we're ready to, as I call it, look under the carpet yet again at this perhaps painful moment. So the way to fully heal anything, any trauma, is by acknowledging it. So acknowledging that it's real, not allowing anyone or yourself to doubt it or stuff it, and allowing it to be exactly as it is. Allow the feelings to be, as my meditation teacher says. Allow the feelings to arise and let them be as they are. And just be present with these feelings for as long as they need. So, this presence that we have for our own inner child, our own sadness, our own feelings in the moment, as we may be holding ourselves, or a slight hug, or a gentleness, or just an inward gaze of noticing the fragility of us. This brings light to the dark places, and it allows the thoughts and the emotions to shift and begin to, as life is impermanent, begin to morph into something new. It's ready to change from how we remembered it. We're ready to see it differently. So by accepting it, bringing compassion to it, this helps to release it a little more, where it releases it to a point where maybe previously you could only do so much, but now you can do a lot more. You can go into it a lot deeper and fuller. It's a fuller view of what your pain was. Now, many times working with clients, they can't remember the details, and you don't have to remember the details. But if you can feel the emotions or the palpable sensations in the body, it's hot, it's tight, it's sharp, shallow breathing, even if you could just go with those feelings, it's so powerful. So all pain needs a witness to validate and comfort in order to transform it, in order to transform its composite, its makeup. So energy, like memories or experiences or trauma, it can never just disappear, but it does change form. So working with clients, when they express exhaustion or mental fogginess or self-doubt, most likely, if it isn't due to eating poorly, not sleeping enough, or using drugs or alcohol, what it is your mind may be trying to block, distort, or ignore a memory that's trying to rise up from the past, from under the carpet, and you're ignoring it. It's almost like we're walking over these lumpy parts in our carpet, and we're going to ignore those lumps. But I want you to pull that carpet back. So, giving these moments when we are feeling the sadness with no specific origin, or chronic fatigue, which is often an issue with clients, is to allow for space and time to sit quietly without music, without social media, without electronics or TV, and listen. Take a deep breath in and out. Listen to your heart. Literally feel the pulsing and the slight movement of your body from the rhythm of your breathing. And ask yourself, which moment from your past needs your attention? And see what appears. What age are you? And don't doubt yourself. The first image that comes up, allow that to happen. When something painful happens and you didn't receive the attention, the care, the safety, the support, the time, or the love you needed in that moment, as much as our minds are able to deceive us, when we know their nature and how to understand what it's showing us, we can actually time travel, as I said, through the past to those neglected moments. And with tenderness and with compassion, we can hold that inner child, that young adult, and see them, feel them, smell them, and we can bring that open-hearted, wise adult that we are now and play both parts. They call that reparenting. So we're reparenting ourselves with the wise adult we are now, time traveling to the past. So when we imagine the ultimate parent, partner, or priest that were able to say, if they were able to say and do exactly what we wished in that moment, what we needed so long ago, we can re-script our pasts. We can heal our old wounds and reclaim that vitality, that mental clarity, and our childlike sense of play and creativeness. This is unleashing our greatest beauty. So those of you feeling old and not so attractive, I think it's time to dust off some of those lumpy carpets. Look underneath, bring some light, bring some vitality, and reclaim that part of yourself. We all have a right to reclaim our whole selves, to take as long as you need in these moments, to bring tenderness and patience to ourselves until we feel that inner warmth and begin waking up a little bit more. When this process is done, I then ask you to journal your experience about what you felt, what you saw, what thoughts came up, or you can ask a trusted partner, a friend, a family member, or a counselor to listen to your process. Ask them, can they just be a sounding board? Can they just witness this? And what this is doing is admitting to yourself and another your humanness, your vulnerability. You're getting the support from someone here. And it validates your truth, sometimes your sanity for those of us that have so much self-doubt. And it supports you in your newly achieved level of unity and peace within. All around, you will benefit, along with your ability to then have more clarity in identifying exactly when you need something and what you need, and then learning how to ask for it in a kind and compassionate way, not in an expectation way, but in a clear, soft, gentle, open-hearted way. If this is a challenge for you, because you may lack self-patience and compassion, then often I suggest to imagine that you're attending to your own child. Or if you don't have children and can't conceive of that, then someone else's, a niece or nephew or grandchild, or someone that you're responsible for to care for. Often, when our self-worth is low, we can be courageous and loving to everyone around us, even strangers, yet we cannot offer that same beauty and tenderness to ourselves. So, in the week of love, in this dead of winter, there is a chance for a new chapter to love yourself and to work on self-care tools. So if you are in need of claiming every unowned speck that you have forgotten because you want greater vitality and beauty and radiance, and you're looking for guidance through these type of practices. I'm your girl. I have been doing this for a couple of decades, more than a couple of decades. I'm available for counseling sessions via Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, phone calls. I am in Austin, Texas Central Time in the US. I do a sliding scale. My sessions are $100 a session, but I will go down to $50 a session if you're not working or if you can't financially afford it. And I will work with you if we end up doing weekly. My number is 808-283-7587. My email is samanatiger, SAMANATIGER @yahoo.com. Yes, that is my Chinese sign, the tiger. I personally feel better already from this morning because I did my work, I did my meditation, I did my journaling, and then as I sat quiet with myself, withholding my 11-year-old, until she integrated in me, until she got all the attention she needed, just like a child that's playing, they skin their knee, they come running to you crying, and you just look at their little knee, you put a Band-Aid on it, give them a kiss the boo-boo, and they go running off to play again. That is our emotional nature. It needs that tenderness in the moment. I gave it to myself, and it inspired me to create a whole new podcast. Hopefully, it gave you a couple new points and inspires you to look under your carpets. So I offer my gifts to all of you in hopes that it adds to your healing and your wholeness. I am a master of self-care routines through my own experience and all of the years and the clients of counseling that I have helped. I am so grateful for all of you. So, looking under your carpets in order to transform your past to love. You deserve all of it. Happy Valentine's Day. Blessings to all of you.